Today we will discuss about density gradient column or density measurement of textile fibers or polymers. The concept of Galileo that was adopted in 1638, and the concept of Galileo has been adopted here. How the Galileo concept has become useful to design this equipment. The density gradient column is discovered in 1937 by Lindström and Lang. And what is the what is the importance of this density gradient column? If you will see how to measure the density of a fiber is not easy, because to measure the density of any material you require two dimensions. One is its volume and another is its mass. So mass upon volume is density. Mass you can measure, but volume measurement for fiber is very, very difficult. There are two major limitations with measurement of fiber volume. First one is its length, because fiber has crimps. So if you will keep the fibers without any stress, you will get less length. When you will extend the fiber to keep it straight, the fiber may extend or elongate. So you will get little bit higher length compared to the actual one. Second thing, fibers are not regular in its diameter at all places. So when you will measure its diameter, again, this will be a problem. Next one is its cross-sectional shape, or the diameter or radius, whatever it is, by which you will calculate the circumference of its cross-sectional shape or the area of cross-sectional shape. So all these measurements are very difficult for a fiber. When volume calculation or volume measurement is difficult, then how will you calculate the density of that material accurately? So that is still very big issue in case of textile fibers. Now, you come on density gradient column. What happens in case of density gradient column, as you are seeing here in a picture which I placed here, the layers of liquids of different compositions are formed, and each layer has slightly different density. You are seeing with white color, very fine layers, and all layers have different density. Means the layer which is at bottom has maximum density or highest density, and the layer which is on topmost position of this column, that has lowest density. Now there are few factors which influence the measurement also. One is temperature. That's why it needs to be temperature stabilized to minimize the convection. As you know, the heat transfer takes place by means of three means: conduction, convection, and radiation. So convection is involved when one molecule changes its position from one position to another position. When molecular change position, it carry the energy along with it. So energy transfer from one place to another place by the change of position of molecule of that particular place. That is basically convection. Little mixing between layers can disturb the column. If these layers will mix, then you will not find the fine layers of density. Density gradient column. Its name is density gradient column. Gradient. What does it mean by gradient here? Gradient indicates that there is a parameter which is not fixed. As the height is changing, the density is also changing. So at two different heights, density is different. Density is not same. That's why its name is density gradient column. Density gradient column has various layers of varying density, less dense on top and more dense at bottom. I have already mentioned. Calibrated reference balls are used to standardize the column. If you will see the actual density gradient column physically, then you will see 4 to 5 walls, glass walls in each column. 3 to 4 or maybe up to 5. The more number of walls, it will be easy to measure the density of any sample, that may be fiber or polymer, whatever it is. The purpose of these walls is to keep the standard density maintained. And according to the density, these walls are set at different heights. Now here in this picture you are seeing there is a CPU type structure is there. This is not a CPU, basically this is a chiller which is used to maintain the temperature. At the top of this density gradient column you are seeing two flasks. At bottom of both the flasks, and both flasks are connected with each other. At bottom of both flasks there is a box type structure. That is not a box, that is basically magnetic stirrer. So when we prepare the column, this device is used. In both flasks, we keeps two different liquids which have different density. Suppose you want to prepare a column for the measurement of nylon 6, nylon 6X, and all these type of fibers which have density 1.10 to 1.3 or something like that. We can't prepare a density gradient column which is capable to measure the density from 0.9 to 1.6. If you will prepare like that, your reading will not be accurate. Your measurement will not be precise because your range is too wide. So narrow range of density difference is used to opt those liquids to form the density gradient column. Next condition for these two liquids is that these two liquids should not be reactable with each other. If these liquids will react with each other, then density gradient column will not form. These liquids should be partially miscible. Partially miscible. I'm not using the word these liquids should be miscible completely or immiscible completely. Partially miscible liquids are used. If they are mixable with each other, then layers will not form. And if they are immiscible with each other, then layers will not form. So partially miscible liquids are used to form the column. Now calibrated reference balls are used to standardize the column. I have already mentioned this point. Now, this is a list of liquids which are used to form the density gradient column. Now, First one is 2-propanol with water. Density range is 7.85 to 9.97 grams per cc, or 785 to 997 kg per meter cube. So 0.78, sorry, 0.78 to 0.997. If you will prepare the column by using these two liquids, you will able to measure the density of polypropylene fibers, because polypropylene fibers have their density in the range of 0.91 to 0.9697, depends on the molecular weight of polyethylene. If you remember, I discussed this point when I was discussing about high performance, ultra high molecular weight polyethylene fiber in your last semester. Second one is 2-propanol with diethylene glycol. This combination of liquid will form the column from 0.785 to 1.130. Ethanol plus water plus zinc chloride, 0.79 to 1.7. Water plus sodium bromide, 0.997 to 1.4. Water plus calcium nitrate, 0.997 to 1.6. Water plus cesium formate, 0.997 to 2.350. In this way, a huge list of different chemicals is available here, and all these are available in liquid state. So liquid should not be reactable with each other. They should be partially miscible with each other. Density difference should be there. Density difference should not be too wide. Although if you will use, column will form, everything will work, but the preciseness of measurement, that will suffer a little bit. Now, miscibility. Two liquids must be partially miscible. I was mentioning the same point. Two liquids should not react with each other. There should not be significant shrinkage after mixing. Sample must be stable in mixture of liquids. Liquids should not flammable, and liquids should not toxic in nature. Toxicity. Because if you will place the fiber inside the this column, and then after placing 30, 40, 50 fiber, there will be a crowd inside the column. So you have to clean the column time to time. And what is the purpose of cleaning? I will tell you in detail. These liquids should not be flammable, because this density gradient column is needed to keep in a environment where you have to maintain the temperature of that room or the surrounding of that density gradient column around 23, 24 degrees centigrade. If you are able to maintain at 20 degrees centigrade, is well and good. But in subcontinental region, if you are maintaining 27 degrees centigrade, it is also permissible. Now, cleaning of column for reuse. As I have mentioned that suppose 30 to 40 samples are there. If you will place next sample, after 24 hours, you will not identify your sample. So you have to keep a identification for your sample also, because after placing the sample, immediately you will not take the reading. The sample will require to kept there for 24 hours. Why? Because when you will place the sample will move from top to bottom as per its density. And I have mentioned the column consists number of layers which have density in increasing order from top to bottom. So according to the density of sample will move from top to bottom. So the effect of gravity will also work, and due to gravitational effect, this sample will also move in downward direction. But where it will stop? Huh? So, lifetime of density gradient column is partially depend on number and size of specimens when column is swapped. The density gradient column can be swapped very slowly, rising a wire mesh basket up through the gradient and capturing the all density floats along with test specimen. Each and every column has a basket which has its bottom of perforated mass that consists of mass. So suppose a mass is kept at bottom and all samples are landing in between on this column. When you will start to lift that basket at very slow rate, very slow rate, means how much time? हाँ रजनी जी, हाँ जी, नमस्कार, नमस्कार। हाँ हाँ छप रही है अभी, हम आपको 2-4 दिन में ही उसका वो बताएंगे। और जेम पे आपने जैसे डाला था उसका क्या नाम है, ब्राउशर का जो उसी तरीके से डाल दीजिएगा तो हम उसी पर ऑर्डर करवा दें। हाँ, अरे कोई ऐसा कुछ नहीं, नहीं नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं, आप मत परेशान होइए। हाँ ठीक है। और मैं कल आपको एक वो भेजूंगा, जैसे पिछली बार वो बनवाया था एक फ्रेम वाला, वो बनाना है। और कल शुक्रवार है, शुक्रवार मतलब शनिवार तक हमें बना दीजिएगा। हाँ ठीक है, मैं कल है। अच्छा हाँ 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 हाँ, तो कल ही बना दीजिए, मैं फिर आज ही आपकी मेल पे भेज देता हूँ। ठीक है। हाँ वो फोटो फोटो भेज दूंगा उनके, वो फोटो लगा के जैसे वो बर्थडे का पिछली बार आपने बनाया था उसी तरीके से बना दीजिए। अभी मैं क्लास ले रहा हूँ, मैं थोड़ी देर में आपको कॉल करता हूँ। Sorry. So the test specimens are discarded and basket and test specimens are lowered slowly down the column again. When this basket will come at top, all samples which you place in that column during last 1 month or 2 months, whatever it is, all samples will come in that basket. So you remove all samples and then you lower it slowly. So how much time is required to bring it up? That should be around 5 to 6 hours. 5 to 6 hours to lift that basket from bottom to top. So how is it possible? A motor arrangement there, gearing arrangement is there to slow down its speed. A current controller device is also there. So you adjust the time, how much time you set to bring it up and to bring it down. Why? Why are we using this slow speed? Because your column is so delicate. Liquids are there and liquid layers are there. If you will do it fast, these layers will disturb and your column will also disturb. So to bring the basket up for swap, to swap the column is also recommended to do at very slow speed. This process poses some deterioration of DGC, density gradient column. Even after maintaining all these precautions, but when you will lift the basket, when you will lower the basket, there may be some deterioration in the column. Means up to some extent the column will deteriorate. Mixing of all layers can be minimized by moving the basket as slowest as possible. Don't wait to fill the basket with sample and float, because full basket reduce the meshing potential and works like piston and column disturb completely. This is another point. Means when will you lift the basket? Is it full? No. If full samples means basket is completely loaded, when you will lift the basket, it will work just like a piston. and through the mesh, through the holes of the mesh which is at the bottom of that basket, liquid will not pass easily. So what will happen? All layers of that column will disturb. The density gradient technique is an extremely accurate method for determining the density of solid specimen. A linear density gradient is obtained inside the 1 meter tall conditioned column by adopting a technique described in the standard method ASTM D1505. This is the standard American standard for testing of materials, for textile materials, D1505. This is referred when we measure the density of fibers and other solid specimen by using density gradient column. The density gradient ranges from the highest value at the bottom of the column to the lowest at the top. These limiting values are determined by the two solutions prepared to fill the column. Yes, I have mentioned. At least 3 floats having known densities are placed inside the column so that the density at each position can be evaluated by a linear interpolation. The accuracy of the method can be better than 0.05%. Density difference of 0.00001 can be measured. So you can understand the accuracy of density gradient column. If you will maintain all those recommendations or precautions, all advice, then the accuracy you will get, you can just imagine. The picture reports the floats that are currently hold the most common polymers can be accurately analyzed. Means whatever fibers or polymers you know, all those polymers and fibers can be measured for its density. The sample is placed inside the ultrasonic bath to remove moisture and dirt from the sample surface. Means sample preparation. What kind of sample preparation is required? Hot samples are not recommended. Cold samples are not, very cold samples are not recommended. Sample which consists moisture, that is also not recommended. So ultrasonically treated means whatever moisture is there, that should be removed by ultrasonic bath. Then you place your sample in the form of a ball. Sample is then carefully dropped into the column and allow for settle. Height of the sample is carefully compared with the height of the standard walls. This is the principle basically. When Charles Lindsay, they developed the Physical Research Department Research and Engineering Division, American Inca Corporation, that was the company. In the laboratory of that company, they prepared this density gradient column first, and that was the shape of that density gradient column. But nowadays, very compact, very smart density gradient columns are available. Now, how can we measure if you have a density gradient column? Then basically, suppose this is a column just like 1 meter height. In front of that column means you should be perpendicular, means your eyes that should remain exactly perpendicular to the position of float or the sample. So you have to measure the height of sample as well as float. So suppose one float as a at 22 degrees, 22 centimeter, 22.35, another at 49, another at 73, and another at 92. So all the time you have to measure the height of all floats along with your sample. Then the height of your sample. Suppose you place the nylon sample there and you place one PET sample, polyethylene terephthalate, polyester sample. So 4 walls and 2 samples mean you have to prepare a graph at bottom. You can you have to keep the distance or height in centimeter, and at y-axis you will keep or you will place the density. So you know the density of walls. and you are measuring the density height of those walls. So for first wall, where when you measure the height of that first wall, whatever it is, 22 or 24, whatever it is, height and then density, you know the density. So as per the density, you will place the height. So point will come here. For another wall, another point will come, another point will come, another point will come. In this way, you will prepare when you will meet all these 4 points, you will get a straight line. If these walls are not coming in a straight line, it means your column is not working properly. If column is correct, all floats, when you will join the position of all floats, they will come in a straight line. After drawing the straight line, then you know the height of your sample. So suppose height of your sample is 32. So at 32, you will keep the point here and then you will draw a perpendicular line at that point. So this line will cut this gradient line at a particular point. Where it will cut, that will be the density of your sample. So in this way, we measure the density of different samples. To ensure accuracy, the digital temperature control to ensure the temperature of each column is at 23 plus minus 0.1 degree centigrade. To keep temperature 23 degree centigrade, the integrated cooling coil is used in conjunction with an optional water chiller. I have mentioned there is a chiller is required to keep the temperature constant. To build each glass column with a float of a known density range, a variable speed peristaltic pumped filling system is supplied with the apparatus. Column filling speeds are variable from 0.5 liter per hour to 1.5 liter per hour to keep the gradient accurate. So at what speed you will fill the column means at what speed you will allow to go down the liquids, and liquids will not pour directly at the center of the column because column is a glass tube. So whatever liquid you will allow to pour down in the column, that will go along with the wall of that column, along the wall at very slow speed. Direct liquids are not allowed to pour inside the column. The column filling speed are variable, I mentioned. The linear encoder which is attached to a Dremel guide is used to calibrate the gradient of the column by focusing the optical microscope onto the center of the calibrated float and entering the float density value into the microprocessor. Once test sample has been introduced into the column and have reached a point of static equilibrium, they are accurately sighted using the microscope. Means a microscope which is mounted on a vertical scale is used to measure the height. Otherwise, how will you measure the height? You will not keep this measuring tape all the time. No, there is no need to use any measuring tape or measuring scale. Measuring scale is fixed with the equipment on a vertical rod, and at the same rod, the microscope is also placed, and the position of microscope you can change as per the height of sample or the flow. So the your eye or the lens of that microscope and sample, all three should remain in straight line. Then you will get the accurate reading. The resultant density of sample is obtained and displayed on the LCD without the need of complicated graphs. Nowadays, computers are also attached with the density gradient columns, so you don't require to prepare the graphs. As I mentioned, that was the old method which we used in 97, 98 or up to 2000. But nowadays you just measure and you place the position of samples as well as flow. And then you will get the graph, and by using that graph, you can calculate, or the graph will immediately give you the density of your sample, whatever specimen you are putting inside your column. Yes. Sandeep, what is the problem?
सर जैसे आपने बताया था सर कि डेंसिटी ग्रेडियंट कॉलम में परपेंडिकुलर रहेगा सर,
हम्म
बट अगर जो बॉल्स हैं सर जो
हम्म
स्पेसिफाइड डेंसिटी की हैं सर,
हम्म
उनके बीच में किसी भी पॉइंट पे अगर वो सैंपल अगर फ्लोट हो रहा है सर,
हम्म
तो उस पॉइंट की डेंसिटी हम कैसे मेजर करेंगे सर? क्योंकि
उनके
हमें ये तो
बीच में
पता है
वो
कि नंबर।
वॉल्स विल रिमेन सेपरेट फ्रॉम ईच अदर। उनके बीच में इतना डेंसिटी डिफरेंस होता है कि दो वॉल्स एक के ऊपर एक नहीं आती कभी।
हाँ सर, तो उन दोनों के गैप का जो डिफरेंस होगा सर,
वो
तो
अच्छा खासा गैप रहता है। वो गैप इतना होता है, मतलब 10-12 सेंटीमीटर से कम नहीं होगा कभी भी।
सर तो उन 10-12 सेंटीमीटर जो गैप होगा सर, उनमें हर एक पॉइंट हर एक मिलीमीटर का कितना डेंसिटी वेरिएशन आ रहा है, तो वो कैसे निकालेंगे सर?
वो कॉलम से निकालेंगे ना, आपको नहीं निकालना ये। दिस इज द beauty of these chemicals, which are forming layers, very fine layers, that may be the part of millimeters, you can say.
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
The resultant density of sample is obtained and displayed on LCD, means on your screen you will get the density of your sample. Column cleaning. To remove the samples and glass marker float, I have mentioned it. Sample and floats are removed at a slow speed. Gradient of each column is not damaged by swept basket. So depending on the use of the column, if you can understand the use of how much column has been used, but average life of a column, that is around 40 weeks. After 40 weeks, you have to re-prepare the column. Whatever chemicals are there, you just remove all chemicals and you prepare a fresh column. So in this way, this technique is used to measure the density of different fibers, different polymer chips, or whatever it is. If the material is available in solid form, then you can measure the density of that material by using this technique. But suppose your density gradient column range is 0.9 to 1.3 and your sample has density 1.38, then what will happen? When you will place your sample, where it will go? Sandeep Tiwari,
पार्डन द क्वेश्चन सर।
अगर आपका कॉलम 0.9 से 1.3 ग्राम्स पर सीसी की रेंज के लिए बना है, आपने एक सैंपल डाला जिसका डेंसिटी 1.38 के आसपास है, या पॉलिस्टर का सैंपल आपने डाल दिया इसकी डेंसिटी 1.38 के आसपास होगी, तो वो सैंपल कॉलम में कहाँ जाएगा?
सर एट द बॉटम।
Correct. So immediately the sample will go at the bottom at very fast speed. So not only you will not measure the density, the sample will disturb the column also. So be careful which sample is required to place where. Before keeping the sample inside the column, you have to have some idea of the density of that material. You know the sample, is it polyester sample, or it is nylon sample, or it is wool fiber or cotton fiber, whatever it is. You have to know about the material. Unknown material, if you will place like that, that will disturb the sample also, column also. Is there any other question?
Sir, if we have